Hello, everyone. Okay, we're ready to start. It's 2 o'clock. Welcome to the August Heart of Texas chapter of Sisters in Crime meeting. Welcome, everyone. My name is Noreen Cedeno. I'm the chapter president. I'm going to make a few announcements before we get started, so I'll get to that. First, we're looking for volunteers. We're always looking for volunteers, but we need specifically someone to help us with our communications. If you're interested in helping with a newsletter, if you're interested in helping with keeping our website up to date, we'd love to hear from you. Please come talk to me or send me an email. Next month in September on the 10th, we will be having Beth Barani speaking about branding for novelists, drafting your author branding statement. So to reach readers, lots of experts tell you to blog and use social media and send out newsletters, but you'd rather work on your next book. And then there's ads and a whole lot of other stuff. So marketing can be overwhelming, and Beth Barani is going to come and teach us a one sentence branding statement to attract the right readers. Possible branding taglines and core elements for your author bio that carry the message about your books and your mission. So that's next month in September. Today, we have Lois Gibson, who is a forensic artist. She worked for the Houston Police Department and constructed the first textbook teaching her profession to other artists, entitled Forensic Art Essentials. She teaches forensic art students from all over the world at Northwestern University and is a graduate of the University of Texas and the FBI Academy Forensic Artist course. Her 2007 sketch of an unidentified murdered baby girl called Baby Grace, found on the Galveston beach, prompted Riley Ann Sawyer's grandmother to identify her for authorities, resulting in the apprehension and conviction of her murderers. Gibson uses her expertise to help identify the dead and bring justice. She's been profiled on so many TV shows, I cannot even begin to list them. Anyway, welcome, Lois Gibson. And is it okay if we record you?
Yes, it is. I already said, yeah, go ahead. Y'all, I'm from a large family, so if you want to yell out a question, you take care of yourself. I know you want to try to write and sell. At least you're in a time where you can publish your own books. They have digital. And I can make prints of my originals. Anyway, I've done about 8,000 portraits in my life. And so all I've done is draw. So don't hang out with people like that. But if you have any, I'm not kidding. If you all have anybody in your life that's really good at art and they want to draw all the time, I feel like saying, tell them to quit it. But anyway, think dentistry. You can't get through dental school. I went to dental school for a year and a half. I'm a masochist, beat me. But you can't get through dental school unless you're really good at art. So why not make some money and have art be a hobby? Think teeth, okay? I'm trying to help you out here. I mean it. Don't try to make it a living as art. The reason I do, well, mainly what I do at the job for 40 years that I had at the Houston Police Department, I had a job that nobody thinks I can do. But I did it very well. But what I did was, you see a face and the person gets away and they do a crime. And I get with you later. And now let's remember the face. And I'm going to draw a portrait of the guy that shot your son to death the day after you donated the organs. Right on. So I'm really good at being really nice if you're really freaked out. Okay, it's just wonderful. So that was very painful. And every witness said I can't do it. The police didn't think I could do it. My ex-husband, the redneck plumber from Waller, Texas, said you can't do it. Every single witness, right? All the cops, right? You're sitting there and you're thinking, if somebody put a gun in my face and took my wallet, you are thinking, I couldn't do a sketch. Wrong. I got it down to a science. I'm in the Guinness Book of Records because I helped catch more than 1,266 of the worst felons who walked the face of the earth. So I went to Walmart's and bought 4 of these. My picture's in it. Anyway, and I wrote a textbook how to do it. These little people, that can draw. Remember, don't hang out with artists, but I can tell you how to be a forensic artist. Don't write a book. Well, a textbook. It's too much work. But I wrote it. The only way I could write it is I said, Lois, when you die, give your profession. So my tricks are all in here, and it's my kind of book. It's mostly just pictures. So that's a picture book. And then a really great talented author named Deanie Francis Mills. I don't know if you're aware of her. She published 10 books before she did this with me. So we just picked out major cases and profiled them. So it's like a bunch of short stories that talks about a certain case, and you go, oh, that's terrible. Then Lois comes in and sketches and it solves it. So I've got them for sale. If nobody buys any, that's fine. But I thought her craft is so good. This woman makes you can't, she's tricky. You see that and you got to get to the next chapter. So if you want that, fine. No, I can't write creatively. No, false. All right. Math, also very weak. You already guessed that. The reason I do what I do, this lady has seen me before and she wants me to tell. Well, something different happened. The reason I do what I do is because I was a dancer and a model in LA. I danced on a TV show, and a guy tried to kill me. Of course, it was just a regular garden variety attack that I've worked hundreds, thousands since. But I was 20, and I won't even go into it. You can read the book. She describes it. I obviously lived, for all you biology experts. But I went to a CSI conference 3 years ago, and they showed a picture of a girl who successfully hung herself to death. This is a part you didn't hear. She killed herself. We got it, Lois. She's dead. There was a picture of her. That's what I'd look like after the attack, because the guy was into strangling while he was doing it to you, like as in, did you do it on your date? You're going to get pregnant. Now, so he's doing it and he's strangling. And I've never said this before, but it came to me after I saw the picture of that hung woman, because I had blocked it out of my mind. My mind's so powerful. I said, I saw it in the mirror and I said, I'm not remembering that. And I blocked it out. I tried to kill myself. I'm really crappy at suicide. Oh, I got one over here. I'm really bad at suicide. Couldn't pull it off, trying to figure it out. And then I had a miracle from God. It's my favorite miracle. 6 weeks after the attack. Now, some people don't listen. They don't remember what I said. They can't figure it out. 6 weeks after the attack was in Los Angeles. I was in my apartment. He knocked on the door and lied, said he saw me come and go. We're neighbors. You want to get acquainted. If you haven't been raped, you open the door and you almost get killed. I have other girls after that, they got raped the same way. They got attacked. But anyway, so don't blame me. I was wearing loose jeans and a t-shirt. 6 weeks later, an hour drive from my house, something took the steering wheel. And I went up a street I didn't mean to go up. I mean, I didn't want to go up the Hollywood Hills where you can't turn around. And when I got to the top, I saw the guy that tried to kill me get arrested for another crime. And I saw him beat him because he was fighting them. They were trying to get downstairs and he was fixing to make them break their legs. So they started beating him. Like, all right, that's a party. That looks good to me. But do you see, I couldn't have done the job that I do for 40 years if I hadn't seen justice. So that's what I put up with my witnesses. They can be abusive and cry. I'll do anything to get justice because I know what it feels like to see the guy get arrested. And that's when I knew there was a miracle from God. I knew that was a miracle from God. So that launched my career. What happened? I almost got killed. Yay. And then I got a career out of it. So anyway, I'm in LA. I leave LA. I picked out Texas on a map with my eyes closed. Went to UT Arlington, ended up at UT Austin, got the art degree, and then went to San Antonio and did about 3,000 portraits on the Riverwalk. Tourists. $2,000 or $3,000 a night. That's when I quit dental school. I'm going, why in the hell am I in dental school? But now I do facial reconstructions for skulls, which you'll get to see. And it made me wonderful at that. So I was given this weird path, painful, but then I'll tell you the happy ending. So this is a painting I did after we got through in 2020, 2022. I was 2021. I thought we kind of had made it through. It's on. Let me see. It's not working. Okay.
Yeah, we can just.
Well, it was plugged in here. No, I have a thing
It's
plugged
okay.
in.
It's here.
Oh,
We can just use these instead.
no, I don't want to do that. I want to use my remote. I brought it all the way here. I drove all the way here. No, that's my, no, don't take that out. No. Here, hang on. Okay, hang on. Tech stuff, I'm great. I'm 73. I freaking want to die if I have to do tech. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh. Okay, does this work? It's not, that's not working. That,
Yeah, we're just gonna do that.
I'm gonna have to do that on the
Yeah,
screen.
Yeah, on the screen.
I
right
can do
there.
it. Let me
Okay.
just hope.
Okay.
Shoot, I started dating when I was age 60, and two of the guys, but the billionaire and this other, they still have flip phones. They're my age. Okay, this, I mean, you can't make it up. Okay, this is a watercolor of snow. Did you remember that? And that's a poolside. I just do watercolors when I go on vacation, where I'm at. This is the Frio River, huh? On an inner tube, yeah. Yeah, Concan, all right. Okay, these are all from witness memory. Something sacred I never lie about. I never change them after they find the guy I fantasize, because I can make them look exactly like him. After, I can just, these are as bad as, do you see what I mean? They're not good. They're not perfect. Can you have an imperfect life and accept it? You better if you do forensic art. I can't believe that. Work. Okay. Yeah, these are, wait a minute, did that work? Yes, it did. Oh, I hit it and it worked. You saw that, right? The girl with the wash machine, she hits it. Does it? Oh, it worked. Okay. So anyway, just dozens, everything, every single one of these are from a memory of a witness. And this is what you're going, no, you can't do that. Yeah, I can. I asked somebody, an officer, why don't you ask an officer, what's the percentage of these witness memory that come out looking like the person? What do you think the percentage? Go ahead, I'm going to be mean. What do you think the percentage is? You. A witness gets with, it's 100% going to look like them. And some of them that look like hell caught the guy. What do I care? If you do a sketch and it catches me like, okay, this is that book. There it is. It went to paperback. Okay, what's worse than murder? You're supposed to know the answers. At the murder, you just said infanticide. That's murder of a baby. No, what's worse than a murder of even a baby? If a baby is kidnapped by a stranger, the cops are losing it. And then they call Lois, and I come in and everybody sticks their head out. Here she is. And I get with the woman. Oh, no. Oh, this girl came in and said, where's the boys? And the daycare worker said, there. And she kidnapped one of the boys. And the witness, I get abused. It's very painful. Screamed. She stood and screamed all her answers because she was the head of the daycare. She just spent $30,000 remodeling it, and somebody kidnapped a baby from her daycare center. So she's standing and screaming at me. And I start, everybody goes, I never saw the face. And so one of my tricks is I go, what kind of hair did they have? Because everybody remembers hair. That's why high school is so hard. Human beings are high. See, your hair was always perfect in high school. So she goes, a really bad perm. So I'm like, I'm from the 60s, like, I'll put a bad perm. And then they got that night, somebody recognized I got the baby back. I probably would have to resign if they got all the babies back. So I couldn't do this if they didn't. Then there was a 10-hour-old baby kidnapped from a hospital room. And there's the sketch I did for the mom. She's gone. The mom, she was on some good meds where she was still awake. But I'll give me some good meds. You kidnapped my baby. And there it is. She came in and goes, I'm with Baylor Nursing Program. La, la, la. If you want to know kidnappings, So you feel better. If it's a woman, they never hurt the baby. They just want a baby for weirdo nut job reasons. They want to hold a baby. So they're going to feed the baby. Okay. So the baby's not being hurt. Do you got it? They're not killed. If a man kidnaps like a 4-year-old, they will probably try to kill him or have to kill him if they rape him because they scream too much. Okay. But I knew this, so I knew that it was going to be a female, and I'd like to hurt that woman. But there it is, baby back in that nurse. These are all children witnesses. Children are better at doing witness memory than adults. Thank God. All of these are from kids. Okay, somebody asked why questions. Why questions are often long and full of conjecture and you can't do it. You want to go why? I'm the person that says I'm positive it's so. You can go do a PhD on what? I'm just telling you from my function and all the artists that we go to convention, you don't want to be with those people, but we all know kids are better, they're just better. Thank God. So if you're doing this job and the guy's got a hat and sunglasses, you go, why don't I quit now? I got nothing. So a 9-year-old, he took a 8-year-old, 6 or 7, 8-year-old, kept him all night, raped him, let him go alive. And I had the 9-year-old brother as a witness. And he's in the room and I go out and the building's like a block long with cubicles and cops and guns and secretaries. And I said, let's race, make it down there. And I ran, and he's running, oh, you beat me up. And then run back in that so I could get him relaxed to do the sketch. Which I go, this is a failure. We knew he was going to do it again. So 2 girls are in jail. And one girl goes, oh, that guy, I know his name is Lawrence Napper. He tied me to bed and raped me too. And the girl goes, how do you spell the name? N-A-P-P. Anyway, she got caught. She turned him in. There he is. He got caught from the sketch, that pitiful sketch. You want perfection? If you're a Virgo, you can't do this work because you never get any Virgos. Yeah, okay. You don't get perfect. You get just close and it's just horrible. It's never perfect. So a 10-year-old girl, this is not her, was raped by this man. It was bad. He's 6'3". Wow. Okay. He sees the sketch on TV and he turns himself in, people. It's not good. No, it's not perfect. Oh, no. But see, a lot of them know. No, it's a hole in one if an artist gets somebody to turn himself in. It only happened one other time. I'll show you. Of course, I'm going to include that. I have 5,089 cases. I'm trying to do 6 or 7. So the eyes are too big, the nose is too long, the lips are too. Who cares? Perfect. Turned himself in. So for 7.25 years, I tried to get the Houston Police Department to give me a job. That was an assault. I was actually assaulted by police officers. It was a misunderstanding, but I didn't care. I knew they needed help. They had so many murders. And they said, well, they say, well, we don't have it in the budget. Wrong, coffee donut breath. This guy turned himself in. That's 2 detectives working 2 weeks. So I had 3 little 5-year-old girls as witnesses. That's not them. But one of them was raped. They all gave me. This is how you do the sketch. I'm going to tell you in 60 seconds how you do this sketch. If you know anybody can draw, I have a YouTube video and I tell them and I'll get them a job. There's nobody doing forensic art. 45 states have none. Chicago has no forensic artist. That's wrong. So all you do is you give them this book and they say, well, that's the nose. And you draw that nose and that's the lips and that's the eyes. And if you can draw real good, you just draw that picture. And they have their catalog. That's it. They don't have to say anything. I have people that can't speak. I did it from a 4-year-old. Do you see this is used worldwide? Samantha Steinberg catalog. You can find it on loisgibson.com. If you know somebody that can draw, if they will do 20 practices with a friend and send them to look at somebody they can't see, take a cell phone picture, don't cheat, draw from their memory with the catalog. If they do 20 and they email them to me, I will get them a job with law enforcement. I will call the mayor. I will call the city council. You don't want to fight me because I was almost killed. And unless you're actually trying to kill me, you won't stop me, okay? So this is from 5-year-olds. Listen to how this works. You want to know children? Why? I don't know, but they all picked out the same nose separately from the 200 examples. Each one goes that same, oh, wait a minute, the same eyes and eyebrows. And each one of them refused to pick one out of the book and said, it's your nose, Miss Lady, it's your nose. And the third one, I go, here, little girl, here's the noses. Miss Lady, it looks like your nose. So I got a nose like a pervert. I put my compact, I drew my nose. Doesn't he have a really good looking nose? Huh? Okay. So this is how accurate your children were. This is how good children are. They're better than adults. So your stupid people in Chicago and all law enforcement go, well, it's a kid. They can't do it. They don't know about forensic art. Before I die, I'm trying to spread the word about forensic art and develop the profession. But the world decided they're supposed to try experimenting on hating police. Okay, here's a 4-year-old. This isn't really him, but Ulysses, Kansas. A 4-year-old sees a man come in and he slashed his daddy to death and slashed the mom to death, and all they have is a 4-year-old. So they flew me there and I got with him and he only spoke Spanish. And the pilot, before we land, the pilot goes, my dad, we're in earphones. It's a little plane. It's a highway patrol. And he goes, where are you going? And I told him, and he goes, my dad died when I was 4 and I have thousands of memories. I go, thanks. I really that was a God thing. I needed to hear that, right? Because I was scared. That's the youngest I'd ever had. He turned 4. Was he an old 4-year-old? No, he turned 4 the day that happened. Happy birthday. But because he got with me, I did that thing so quick. I do the sketch where you're not looking. I'm sketching and you're the 4-year-old. You got the catalog. I'm getting the pieces. Okay, I'm gonna turn around and show you, change anything you want, any way you want me to change it to make it as much like you as like it. And then I turned around, the 4-year-old got real mad and said, why did you sketch that guy? That meant it looked like. So we didn't know, and everybody started crying, and the secretary's crying, and the guy sweeping the floor is crying. They just took it down to the neighborhood and got him that day. Everybody said, knock on that door. He came to the door. He confessed. They found the knife. No, it's not perfect. No, but I'm caught. Okay, I had a man was looking at this was like only the 20th sketch I did. I have a man, he's in charge of a road crew, and he sees a guy go that way that he knew since he was a kid in a Fort Bend County Sheriff's thing. He's a sheriff. He goes, there's Gene Hyman. He doesn't realize Gene gets shot to death out of his sight and then comes back that car, but it's fishtailing, it's going off the road, is fixing a wreck. He goes, what's wrong with Gene? Why is he driving? And then he sees him go by. You want to try to do a sketch with me if you see somebody go 40 miles an hour? I didn't even know what the hell I was doing. It was a different catalog. I do pray when I do this. This is what I did. And it took 2 years to see the picture of the guy. I don't change them. I couldn't. They had the sketch. If you know people that can draw in this country, I want them to get jobs. But law enforcement are like you guys and everybody in the world. They go, they can't do that. Officer Paul Deason. This guy is so tough. He's sexy. Okay. He's not I don't say the SH word at work. He's not tall. But he's on patrol, and he stops a guy, doesn't realize it's an escaped convict. The guy shoots him in the head, shoots him in the back. He falls down. The guy on purpose runs over him, drags him 65 feet. He stands up and goes back to his radio, which is where he first got run over. And he calls in his own assist, and they played it in the courtroom, and he sounded bored. He goes, officer down, officer shot. I'm like, dang. Pretty relaxed. So I went to the hospital. The guy got away, went to the hospital. He was covered with bandages, and all I was going to be was a voice. And I have a real good angel voice, and I went to his ear and I just, oh, Paul, you're going to live. I did this sketch. Oh, he told me I never saw the face. I only saw the flash of the gun. He was caught shoplifting a chainsaw from a Sears a few days later, and the guys at the jail, when they booked him in, they thought it looked like the sketch. So they had a video lineup for Paul, and then they searched the parking lot and found pieces of Paul's skin and uniform hanging from the undercarriage of this car that he'd run over. And he goes, I didn't do it. Okay. I know this might be depressing. I'm sorry. I hope you lived through this presentation. So this guy raped a blind woman who's 6.5 months pregnant. Other than that, he's an okay guy, right? He's probably fine. But he tricked her and got her to an abandoned apartment, and there was all kind of DNA, but a bus driver saw the guy that attacked her follow her off the bus in her peripheral vision in profile. And it was a 6'2" black girl, and she was abusive. And she says, I told you I didn't see him. So I did this much of a sketch, and she made me put it in the trash, and she left. And then the detective, who was crying, he wanted to get this guy so bad. He came in, he goes, where's the sketch? So I just pulled it out of the trash and gave it to him, and it sucks. It's terrible. So of course it ends up on national news. He goes to the grocery store on the pathway, and this guy manager says, that's David Zayas. He comes in drunk. I'm going to fire him. I mean, she picked him out on a voice lineup. Ooh, this is the first time HPD did DNA. They offered him 19 years in a plea bargain, and he goes, she wanted it. Now you realize that's a confession.
Yeah.
If the cops can get him to say, well, she wanted it, then yes, we did it. Remember doing it? I'm old, I'm sorry. Anyway, he said, no, I don't want 19 years. So the first time they had to wait a year for the DNA to come back, it matched, and he got 99 years. Oopsies for him. This is terrible. It's just a terrible sketch. It got the guy identified immediately. And I got to look, the chin's 4 times too long. I mess up the chins the most. Again, Virgo, you don't get perfect. Look how it caught him immediately. Oh, my witness, I'm sorry. He comes into a shop. She's alone. He sprays her with mace. He blindfolds her so she can't get the mace off her eyes. He handcuffs her and puts her on the ground and does missionary position sex while he's stunning her with a stun gun. What a nice guy. Anyway, I got her justice. He got caught. This girl, she's in England. She sketches a guy that mugged her, and they caught him right away. 100% of the time, a sketch artist can do close. If they have a catalog, somebody that can draw right now, I could talk to them for 15 minutes. They could get a big murder case and they'd solve it. Aren't you glad you're not me? Because I'm sitting knowing Chicago has nobody. Oh, God, it makes me sick. Okay, there's 2 guys. This is recent. There's 2 guys going to work, a dad and his son. They walk out 5:30. A guy comes up, shoots his dad, goes through his pockets. I do this sketch, and this is the guy that turned himself in. It's not that good. It is not good. I'm not going to visit him in prison and go, you know, you have some of those beautiful eyebrows, and I completely miss those, but whatever. He's got great eyebrows. Other than that, killer. This girl was shot 15 times. She lost 9 teeth. She woke up and realized she was bleeding to death, but could move and breathe, and the heart was working. So she walked the equivalent of 3 football field lengths. And she goes, oh, there's a fence I can't crawl if I'm not shot. I'm dying here. Then she saw a brick on the ground. There was a brand new white BMW. She thought if I could just, so with the last bit, she picks up the brick and drops it on the Beamer and got help. Yeah, Beamer, you don't be messing with somebody's brand new. There's a sketch. The holy grail of great interviews to get the witness to laugh. I can make people laugh that have almost been killed. I am hilarious because I was almost killed. I got this girl laughing. She almost fell out of the bed. And here's the one thing how I got her one of the ways. It's real hard, but I got a knack. Okay, it's part of my knack. She goes, you know, you look good. You know, because I'm about this far down. I go, yeah, he's young, but it kills him when he starts shooting you to death. That's gonna kill the look right. We're ha, you had to be there. And then I kept I'm very funny. I haven't had a ticket since 1972 because I'm so, if you stop me, I'm so funny. Oh God. Oh, yes. Okay, so she had her mom put her shirt, get her dress, and she wanted her picture taken with me because I was fun. That's how you get, that's part of the technique. And a whole bunch of people, I get them, they go, that's the first time I laughed about this. But they need to laugh. It got him caught. He was still driving her car. He was sure she was dead. Went like this at the end, and she had a cluster of bullet holes right here. Great guy. He got life. My favorite grooming activity of suspects is to have facial tattoos. You have to, yes, yes. So this guy, he got convicted. He's sitting there in court with, and I didn't get the writing perfect, but it's kind of curving and it's the same place. This rape, the girl described this guy, it wasn't exactly real bad, but it just got to me. And the detective, I loved him. When I got a divorce, I dated him once just because he's he's genius IQ. I go, can you get this guy? So the next day he's at a wedding and they called him, they stopped him. It's like, put your area code on your face. And it's had to, not a good idea. So there's Keith. He's like, oops, oopsies. Okay. I don't know why, but adults will switch an item from one side to the other. Children don't. I don't know why. But if you're on the jury and he has a 713 and the witness, and I can testify, yeah, it's more often than not, they'll switch it. That's going to work. The witness that gave me this at the end said it was so terrible, it didn't look like him. I'm sorry you even came to do this sketch. It's one of the best I ever did. So you're stupid. Your law enforcement is saying, well, the witness didn't like it. You don't listen to the witness. Get an artist in there and you're going to get close. They don't think it's any good. But you should use a forensic artist. This guy killed several women. I did this in a women's prison. She's a Mickey fan. You go out to lunch or you meet her at a bar. She acts innocent. She says, I'll make you breakfast, because you're drinking what bread. Go to his house. She always went to his house, made sure he wasn't married. She was a clean crook. And then she drops something in his food and the scrambled eggs, and he goes to sleep. She takes everything. This is how it's supposed to work. Well, she doesn't mean she drives his car back or whatever. She was nice. They caught her with the sketch. This Helen Orman got shot in a ritzy part of town, putting gas in her car by a guy who just wants to kill women. I mean, he just wants to kill women, that's his deal. Okay. I was going to say, don't judge, but go ahead and judge. Okay. So I did the sketch. Everybody goes, no, I just saw him sitting in a car. So a woman is walking into Academy and she sees a guy walking out that she thinks looks like the sketch, which she has in flyers in her car because she gets gas at that place. So she sees the car he came out of. And of course she has only a purple crayon. That's what we all end up with from the kids. And she writes down the tag number, enters it in the system because he looks like the sketch. And then I called her and she goes, no, it really didn't look like him. Do you realize how painful it is to be a forensic artist? I'd just be glad you're not me. So a guy is at Kerrville, outside Kerrville at a rest stop, checking tag numbers, because that's a good idea if you're on patrol. What are you to do? It's midnight. So you check in and one goes, burp, burp, wanted for murder in Houston. And so they got a bunch of guns that said, wake up, sleepyhead. And that's how they solved it. And here, remember I called, you can't, so painful. She goes, well, he doesn't really, I talked to her. I got the detective to let me have her number. What did you do? She helped solve. She goes, well, it really didn't look like him. The rest of that sentence is, but I couldn't eliminate Bo John Maloney. He just liked a kill. He got arrested for duct taping his own mom and beating her to whatever. Nice guy. And that's why they said, thank you, lady with the crayon. So all the detectives had a barbecue later, the ritzy neighborhood barbecue for everybody that helped solve the case. The people on patrol, they didn't invite me. I don't know what the hell. Okay, this is my textbook. This is how many forensic artists there are. There's none. There's none. There's just virtually statistically less than 3%. I'm trying to change that before I die. There's a whole bunch of people wanting to make a different movies about me or whatever dramatic TV thing about cases. It could be good. I'm on all kind of true crime, forensic files for 48. If I ever get a chance, I'm going to get other artists started. Okay. AFIS, automated figure, CODIS, combined DNA, facial identification system now. You could put your sketches in it, could pick out a guy from a photograph. And my girlfriend in Miami who made that catalog has caught 4 people that facial recognition. And these are mine that I identified. Those sketches identified, pulled out of 5,000 or something. So then I got with Holocaust survivors, a whole new breadth of grief. This is Walter Case. My God, he went in when he was 15 and he saw his sister shot to death in the town square. And so I did a picture of her, and then they had the unveiling, and this girl came up, looked exactly like that. He had a daughter that looked just like her. And he got out, and his dad was next to him in the hospital. He finally died of his injuries. The man had charisma. I mean, this was one of the coolest people. All these Holocaust survivors that I did, their relatives that they lost, they all became millionaires, and one became a billionaire. Attitude is everything. Once they went through that, they go, hell, I'll invest money. What am I going to do? Lose money? It won't kill me. Age progression. You need to do this for this job I'm doing now. These are easy. I can see people and I can see what they would look like as a baby and vice versa. So this man saw his dad shot to death when he was 11. It had been 30 years. Okay, so I had 30-year aging. They knew it was this guy. They found him and he slipped out of town. So here's your job. Just make him look 30 years older. He's 33. Make him look 63. They got him in 10 days. Detectives, I mean, they just got that sketch and they go, okay. And he had changed his social security number a little, his name a little, but he needed veteran benefits. That's how they found him. And they knocked it, he did. He was getting old. He's a killer, but he's an old killer. And so he goes, when they go, are you Dave Lott? And he goes, no. Wow. And then they show him the picture and he goes like his real size like this. And he goes, this must be for something 30 years ago. So I got him. This is what other forensic artists say. In fact, they have a rule. They go, we do not age progress infants. They don't, but Aunt Lois does. Some girl called FBI and her brothers, when they were 1 and 2, were taken away and adopted out when her mom died. Her dad was not around. Mom dies in a car wreck. She sees it on TV. She's left with her great aunt who can't take all 3. I understand. I'm not judging her. So she comes 30 years later. So I got to make these 2 and 1-year-old look 32 and 31. I do this in my mind when I see babies. I can tell, oh, that's the dad. But now I'm sitting there going, why I got to actually do this? And I'm like, I pray. I always pray. So she got a free trip to Hollywood and found him that night. Somebody called up. But for Lois to feel better about her job, look how close they are. And then the bottom, I put hair and a mustache on the guy. My sketch, that's all I changed. And here's the younger one, which is even closer. And she was reunited. One of them moved to Houston. They were in South Carolina, bought a house together. From one drawing. Some of these, like this one case, if that's all I worked, my whole life would be worthwhile. I mean, I'm easily pleased, I guess, but. Okay, these were kidnapped. This is an unsolved mysteries. That got them back. Then this rich guy goes, here's a 4-year-old. He got back later to show me how I did. He goes, here she's 4, make her like 16, 17. And I did. Now look how close. Could somebody tell her, no, my lipstick color would be better than what she chose, right? This lipstick. Okay. But so I get kidnappers back. Oh, and this is my boy, my grandson, Thor. What a name. So I just made him look 15 real quick. I should have waited till he was 2. He's just 1. These are easy for me. Facial reconstruction, skeletal remains. If you're down to the bone and you're murdered and we don't know who you are, we need to find out who you are, right? So these I have great facility with. There's no way to get rid of this. Okay. I mean, this to me, this is not a mistake. Oh, y'all don't know. Y'all think they put clay on the skull? Yeah, you do. That's what they show. They give classes. Hundreds of people I know take up. No, I don't need that. I did it. I teach how to do it. I know the tissue depth mark. Now I just look at the skull and I draw it because I can see it. So hurt me, be mean to me. The detective for this took me to a field, which is so sweet. and where they found the body dumped of this girl. And I found a little piece of hair and I picked it up, and it had been like so long the rain had washed. I mean, it was icky, but not, it wasn't icky. So it was African American hair, but that skull gives me Asian, Latino, not African American, but I guess I knew she was, but I knew she was pretty, and she got identified right away. She was pretty. But that because she had alternate lifestyle, low lifestyle, that this is all the pictures they have, just these 2 pictures. But I felt inspired, you know, I pray when I do the skulls and I get a vision of the hairstyle. He doesn't give me the whole thing, he doesn't give me the lotto numbers, but I get the hairstyle. Yeah, here, I'll write them down, God, 1636. Okay, this is just a piece of a skull. By the way, we went through a bunch and I want to get a piece of a skull they found at the Alamo and reconstruct it in October. They're paying for me to stay at a hotel, so I'm going to be able to see what they look like. And they go, you can't do it. I've done a whole bunch when it's just the Calvarium. Now I got a strong one on this hairstyle when I prayed, and there she is. I had her tweezing her eyebrows more than she does. That's tricky on females. Okay, this went unsolved for over what, 20 years? Their anthropologist said it was a white woman. And I'm telling you, I could show you if I had the skull, it's a black person. It was real obvious. It wasn't even close. Like that other girl was kind of Asian-y. I'm like, no wonder they haven't solved it. I did it. They solved it in a few days. There she is. Okay, dental school pays off. This girl had a massive overbite, man. Her teeth went out like, okay, so I didn't do it right, but I knew I should have had her show more of her gums. You know, I fell apart on that. Okay, baby Grace. This is the one they found a girl washed up, a little baby, and she was decomposed. But what people don't know is when I went to the morgue and they unzipped the bag, I was ready for the decomp, which will take you down. And so we're thinking about the morgue, not the visuals. They're understand, but the smell, you feel like you're taking a rotted body in your. So I smoked a cigar about that much, a little fat one, and just blow it through your nose and out your mouth. I don't smoke, and it kills 85% of your sense of smell. So I was ready for it. They unzipped, and I looked up the ceiling. Thank you, God. It was vinegar. There was no decomp. It was vinegar. They pickled her. Goody. Anyway, okay. I started dating at age 60. I had a 30-year marriage, broke up. Oh no, nobody gets divorced. Guys are all perfect to be with. They're wonderful. Anyway, so then I married this guy. He used to be, now this is my husband, but it's like 100 years ago when he was young. He was the Marlboro Man, making cancer look sexy. You go, Brian. But he just has big bones in his face. You know, it's like, so he's Peter Jennings' cousin. He's from Canada. That's him on the left at like older. He still has a nice face. And he sounds like Peter Jennings. Gosh darn, do you even know who he is? Remember I told the news? So he's like, where is the mustard? I go, honey, do I have to walk in the kitchen and bend down lower? Can you not do this? And look, anyway. Oh, and I was the dead girl in a Robert Mitchum movie poster. Somebody had a model for this job. That's me. All right. Okay. You know, I was on Hollywood Boulevard. They had it, the sign. I did the job, and then a few months later, they had the movie poster, and I'm going, that's me in the poster. People on, thanks for sharing. Okay, whatever. I was like, you go, girl. Then I dance. This is me dancing on TV, or this is me trying out to be on the Real Don Steele show. And old man Gazzari comes up there and he takes pictures of you. You know, video. You're trying to dance. You're up on something about this high, about that big. You're dancing, and he's taking pictures. You're like, what the heck? So I got on the show. Whoopee. You want to hear a tragedy? Oh, forget the murders. Forget the rapes. I was on a season of the show. They didn't invent recording until the next year. You know, VCRs, y'all don't care, you're young. So I used to watch it and go, that was pretty good. Modeling, boo, boring, stupid, oh, low IQ. Ugh. Okay, modeling. So I'm in Romania teaching people. I've been twice teaching forensic art. They think I'm important. I'm like, wow, you think I'm important? This is how you do it. Do you see the easel? This is my daughter. This is how I set it up. The 4-year-old or the other witness, whatever, would be over here, and you compose it from the pics they give you in that catalog. Then you turn around, you could be ready to change anything. Any way they want to change it. That's what's hard for artists. You got to be able to erase and change. There's the catalog. Now you know how to do it. If you know somebody that thinks they want to do this, as long as I'm alive, you contact me and I will help them. Email. I've started careers of people all over the world. Okay, fine art, Mayor Lanier. I did that about 30 years ago, 40. And then I've gotten into this. Here's Juan Seguin from, there's an actual picture. There must be somewhere I can check. But anyway, there's a picture of Juan Seguin, the man. So I just age regressed because I could do that. You could do that. The bones are the same. Get rid of the age. There it is. Makes sense? So they have all these Juan Seguin paintings where it doesn't look like anybody. It doesn't actually look human, but that's what he actually should look like. And see the far left? That's the one everybody's seen. It's in the Capitol or whatever. That artist, bless his heart, it's before photography, so the nose is too long. He has a 14-year-old kid's body in the uniform. The ears are as big as if he were 8 years old. Okay, trust me. The ears that big ratio to the skull, that's an 8-year-old. The irises are too big, whatever. I just knew what Juan Seguin looked like, so I did him in the fancy uniform like he really would look. And there's his descendant who I love. This man's a Libra, Albert Seguin. What a prince. What a prince. And he loves me because like, okay. Because of my art? I don't. Wait, that's not funny. Okay. So this is Clemente Delgado's relatives. Good looking people. There he is. So they unveil that. And here's this guy from Dallas. A relative shows up. He looks just like him. I mean, do you think I succeeded? You know what I'm saying? Did I? Because I think it looks like him. And I was just looking at him. I look at the painting and he's trying to talk about investigations because he investigates fires. I'm like, I do murders, man. I don't do fires. Okay, this is Jose Miguel Arciniega. He signed the money for Texas. He was the mayor of San Antonio like 4 or 5 times. Here's Gregorio Esparza. See those 2 men behind the painting? Those are his sons that were in the Alamo. They're older there. When it happened, they survived with the mom, his wife and 2 boys. So y'all are Texas history. I'm Kansas. You know Kansas history? No, you know yours. These are the 2 kids that later they say, what was it like? You know. So he had a mandible that does a certain thing. He has an upside down smile. And then this girl who was nasty, my girlfriend, she goes, we don't need Lois to do a portrait. She had some other, it was stupid. It looks like her. She looks like she could be a sister. She has an upside down smile. I mean, I got that girl's anatomy right. Now she likes me. Jonathan Lindley died at age 22. Alamo. This is Jose Miguel Salinas. Jose Maria Salinas. He was giant wealthy, 11 ranches, and supported Sam Houston with supplies and put him up and if he had not put all that money into the effort, we would not have an independent Texas. So this is like the Jeff Bezos of early Texas. And then she comes over to pick it up and she's related to him, but didn't tell me, look, she looks like him. She does, it worked. Okay. So Victoria, Texas was founded by Patricia de la Garza, and Blanche de Leon contacted me. She wanted me to do this kind of portrait of the founder of Victoria, Texas. So she had a custom made silk dress. She put it on her niece. I took this picture. I love this. This portrait killed me. Don't do this at home, kids. So I had look at all of the relatives. Okay. Patricia De La Garza. I tend to make people look too, I love people. I make them like really great, maybe when they're not. But look at these are three different sisters. They all have Gina Davis, Katharine Hepburn, chins, big chin. You got a good chin, but they have big, I have a crappy. If I won the lottery, I'd have a chin job. Okay, these people don't need, this is Blanche when she's younger. Look at these women, they have great eyebrows, the same. Anyway, so I'm a masochist, so I'm gonna paint that. I'm out of my mind. And there it is. 91 hours. Didn't care. Did it for Patricia. Crochet gloves, lace. Don't do this. No, don't do this at home. The veil with the stuff. Do it. 91 hours. This took 19 hours. I got 8,000 for this, 5,000 for that. Do I care? Do I look like I care? If you don't understand, I'm not about money. I'm sort of like, that's why it's good. I married the Marlboro man, and he made me $200,000. He started that I wouldn't have made without him. He's like got gonads so big he needs a wheelbarrow, but he's like just bold, and I'm like not bold. So he demands money for me. Okay, this is the visual aids of William P. King. He was 15 when he died at the Alamo. I admit I'm a Pisces. I want those relatives. This is hanging in it's going to be, I haven't given it to him yet, the original. It's going to be hanging in the Alamo, and there's a museum they just built. They opened it last March behind the Alamo, and it's like air conditioned, so I'm assuming people. So before I die, I'm getting something in a museum. I'm going to get 17 of these. This is the third or fourth one. My math's bad, but I'm going to do the rest of them. I can die happy if I just finish 4 or 5 more. I'm so happy that I made it through all that hell, that death and destruction. And I just sit and paint. And I put music on and I paint. And that's all I wanted. So I get that. So I think I'm going to die on the way home of a car wreck. Yes. They asked me. It all came up at the same time as I developed my weirdo skulls, age, forensic art. And then about that time in 2014, the Jose Miguel Arciniega. Once I did that, once I did Juan Seguin, then the Alamo project got started, and they go, she's the one. You see God's hand. You know what he does? He doesn't like, oh, it's moving. He takes a baseball bat and goes, because getting killed, almost killed, is the whole reason I do this. I remember thinking, God, why did you do that? But I prayed for justice, so I saw justice. Deanie Francis Mills, the author, she had me draw it, and it's on the paperback. And that's him. He looked good. He had blue eyes. I mean, just like the guy that raped the blind woman. It's like, okay, but yeah, that's a picture. I wouldn't do it, but she's the writer, like, and she taught me. She goes, you gotta draw a picture. And she knew she had to be nice. I'm like, okay. And it was good therapy because it had been 30 years since I was attacked. That was therapeutic. William P. King. And then there's my kitty. I had to watercolor my kitty. That's it. Yay. Oh, they chose. Oh, no, they chose. Way before they found me, they had been contacted. I think everything happened at once. They go, my ancestor died. I think they sent out a thing. They had a track of those people, and they said, if you give us photographs, and you saw those photographs I got. So they have 17, and I think when I do more, other people, descendants, are going to want those. Gee, will I make more money? Twist my, that's okay. I do. I'm glad I make more money. But again, all that torture of those crime victims wanting to sketch, like my pants are on fire, like fast for 40 years. Then when I do these, it takes 19 hours. Yay, there's the payoff in every way. I was at a Home Depot the other day, and an Asian girl, she came up to, she goes, "Are you Lois Gibson?" I, "Yeah." She goes, "You drew the guy that killed my father like 20 years before." And they caught him right away. I remember it was Baytown. It was like, and then we end up holding each other in the Home Depot next to the hoses and stuff. And but it's crazy, the fulfillment.
They get a new person, because I can't remember the Texas Net.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you. Thank you. I started 4 people there. You knew I'd be the type, right? They're my babies. There's a girl named, you ought to look her up on Facebook, Kristen Hale, or what does she call her? Kristen Harley. God, she's better than me. I started her and she's a cop, and she's like really beautiful and tattooed and young, and she became a homicide detective. And so now she gets all the murders she wants to work cases. And then I got 4 started at HPD. But seriously, people, there's no forensic artists in this country because they don't know what I say in my book and what I say now and what she said. 100% of the time, it's going to look similar. And there's been really crummy sketches that caught people. What do you have to lose? They just feel like some artsy people are not like the people. But what they don't realize, HPD realized, if you get the witness with the artist, it makes them so happy. We get stuff out of it that they don't get. You knew that before I said it, because I'm so relaxing. This one girl, she couldn't speak English. She sounded great, but she said, "I didn't tell the detective he had the thing that comes out of the stomach where the poo-poo goes in a bag." And I went, "Oh." So I told the detective, he calls the judge. If they ever get arrested and they have that, a colonoscopy bag, they have special things the judge has to do for the jail orders. And bingo, he had one guy like that. Looks like the sketch done. So she didn't tell the detective, right? But that's one emotional goodie I get that makes me able to stand it, is they don't know what I'm going to get. And then when I turn it around, I'm always blowing their mind about how great it is. I mean, they freak and they all of a sudden, "Oh, you can catch him. We're going to catch him." That 4-year-old in Kansas, the rest of his life, there's this memory he can't forget. But the end of the memory is he got with the lady and he caught the guy. He knows it. Marco Lomas got the distance. That baby knows he did it. Well, I wish you luck with writing. I can't write. I can't do it.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. If you want to buy a book, they're $40, which is too much. If I sell 0, I don't care. You can buy a book or just get it online cheap, 50 cents, right? And I'll sign it.
You would ask if anybody online has questions?
Yeah, ask.
Yeah, ask.
Does anybody online have any questions or anything for Lois? I guess, all right, thank you then, all right.
Bye.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead,
Bye.
I'll go ahead and stop it.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
So publishing, now you can publish your own books,
right?
And then if you do